Hey, without further ado, what's going on? Today's Monday, and I'm here to hear all about your plans and ambitions for the next week with Slack Stand-Up. So, who's going to be presenting today?
I will.
All right, Justin. So, hit me with your plan.
All right. So let me share my screen. All right. So as you know, we're the Slack Stand-Up project, also known as Curie. And stop. Sorry, my dog's poking me. And for this week, what we plan to accomplish are at least we're gonna aim for 100% of our endpoints, but at least 80, and over the fields of what do we have? Stripe, Auth0, Slack, and our basic backend API. And then from there, we have our Trello cards laid out with our user stories that we had fun making earlier. But where was it specifically? Yeah, we had them all down here of pretty much notes of what we had to go through as a team. Get all existing surveys. That is for a manager that is logged in, and they can be able to get all of the active surveys. We have get by survey ID, which they can get a specific survey, click a specific one. Get by their dates. We could filter it by date, hopefully. Post, creating a new survey, so the manager can do that. Delete, also, he could delete one. Let's say he gets a typo or he no longer needs a survey. Edit, or edit existing survey, so he can edit that also. And then get deactivate survey by ID, which I'm not sure what that one was, but I guess an expired survey. And then we had get reports or metrics, or for metrics. So this would be on we had like a page that they can get all the results from the surveys. We had we had our Stripe post endpoints we needed for Curie, so Enhanced Plus and Professional Plus. And that's only going to be on top of Mood if they're subscribed to Mood. Then we have our IS endpoints possible modifications. We have to get our / command ready for our Slack bot. So that's with our Slack API we got to dig into. And then we had to get.
Let me stop you just for 1 second. What is iOS? You're saying like iOS is in like the operating system iOS, or is that?
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's for our iOS app.
Okay.
So I know Farhan's wherever he's at right now, but he mentioned that he needed some specific endpoints or modified endpoints for his app to work.
Yeah.
So it's something we need to coordinate with him.
Okay.
Does that clear that up?
Yeah, it does. I mean, okay. if the only thing I would add to that is, we'll sit that for the end. Sorry, go ahead.
No problem. And then we had to do a get endpoint so we can point the bot surveys to a specific channel. Then we had to do a post get point for team members. What was it? Post message to team members Slack DM with survey questions. So that way everybody in the channel gets a survey sent to them in DM and Slack instead of just one giant one. And then get surveys by channel will be posted with associated channel on Slack. And that's pretty much what we're going to try to get this week accomplished. At least 80% of all our big endpoint or APIs.
And where are you when it comes to deploying? Do you have information that remind me, from the back end to your front end?
Yes.
Okay. So you're already...
yeah, we're deployed.
Yeah, no, I knew you were deployed. I was just, I wasn't clear or didn't remember if you're pulling information from the back end, displaying it on the front end.
Oh, I don't believe so. I don't think we have that yet. We can log in
Not that you need that right now. I'm saying that's just that's also the other part of the MVP for this week.
Okay. Yeah, we do have Auth0 functioning though, so that's all up.
Yeah, Thomas was telling me about that earlier. That's definitely a huge plus. I'm very happy to hear that you guys are guys and girls are very, very far ahead with that. OAuth is usually, it seems like it's complete opposite. It seems like everybody knocks out everything else, and then it comes to sorry, excuse me. And then it comes to OAuth, and it's like Thursday, and everybody's just scrambling, and it's always a headache. So I think that the worst is out of the way for you when it comes to goals. Your endpoints, I think. Which card is that again? You don't have to open it, but just show me on the Trello.
80 to
Okay,
100%
there it is.
endpoints.
Yeah, that I love seeing that. I wish, man, I wish other groups would do this. Instead of just having their endpoints like scattered all over the place on different cards that pertain to different things, having a master list of API endpoints, man, this is just like so helpful. So thank you for
Yeah, it'll help delegate. It'll help us all out when we're tackling
definitely.
code. So
Yeah, totally, totally. Every single check-in I've been doing, it's just been the complete opposite. I'm like, yo, you really should just, have like a cork board of API endpoints I got to tackle. So okay, that's great. Let me see.
Hey Ed, I actually had a question about the displaying information to the front end.
Sure.
Given that this is an existing project, there's already information being displayed. So is that on top of like the existing? You want some of the new
Yeah,
display?
it's gotta pertain to the information that this particular group is um, working with your surveys in Muba. I need query data essentially to be passed through this front end because obviously you do have information already coming from the other um, information from the back end. So yeah. Uh, do you let's see as a group do any of you how do you feel about these endpoints? Like, is there anything in particular that you think is maybe not as straightforward? Is there anything here that might be confusing to you?
uh, I think I'm probably sure the Slack will get confusing, but we were digging into the Stripe today, and we think we have that figured out. But that's
Okay.
just going to be testing to see if we have the right tokens or not.
Yeah. Yeah. I know this might not be. It's not moot, but it's definitely worth. It bears repeating the same. Um, I don't think it's a trope when it comes to working with Slack applications, but Joshua, whenever we work on projects that are somehow integrated into Slack, his favorite talking point is to not focus on making a Slack application these first couple weeks. Your focus this week and foreseeably for a lot of next week is you're writing an API. You're writing an API that's only returning information, and any of the concerns that you have uh, before I even finish this thought, understand that I recognize that you're not. It doesn't strike me like you're just thinking strictly inside of Slack. It does appear that you're following this advice of just make an API that's robust and that will return the information that you need, and don't even give Slack a thought at this period, in this moment that we are in week two. It's not a concern until later on when we get into uh, the more developed detail of this application. But for what you're doing now with these endpoints, this is perfect, and keep doing this because this is if you spend the time, if you spend this week just really cooking up like a heady API that just covers all those endpoints, and maybe you can even add some more as you see fit, it's going to make your life so much easier as if in week 3 and week 4 you're trying to work in the integration Slack, and then you gotta backtrack and say, man, we forgot about this, or we didn't take into consideration how to like that one endpoint for deactivating for a survey that's maybe it's already done, so you have to take it off or whatever. The fact that you can just, well, now I'm just repeating myself, so you get what I'm saying. API comes first. Just focus on this, keep doing what you're doing. It's great. This is definitely what I was hoping to see. I was kind of afraid it was going to be the other way around, not because of the work that you guys have been doing, but just because of the fact that's how it always seems to go when it comes to Slack integrations. Any kind of integration that's not some like web-based or mobile application. So having said that, taking 5 minutes to say something that takes 2 seconds to explain. Is there anything that I can answer for you? Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have a question. Should we have the stuff rendered on the front end this week? Should we have like the display of the actual survey created on the front end?
Okay, so I'll answer that with this. Let me just pop this open. I know you already have this, but this is week 2. Y'all do have this, right? The tracking document. If you don't, just hit me the message and I'll send you the link again. But this is it. This is what we're looking for. So 80%, we already know that. When it comes to this one right here, the front end can pull and display data. It doesn't have to be some kind of completed survey. That's what you want by the end of the week. But bare minimum for like the territory of a 2, we're talking about you have something on the back end that talks to the front end. So if that's just hello world, if that's like an animated GIF of a cat or something, that's the main thing. I'm just trying to establish communication between the front and back end. So if you want to get like slick with it and you really get to where you're going, then that's when you're talking about here 3, the data models are implemented, and data models being the complete surveys that you'd be returning. So if that does that answer your question? Like what you're asking would be in the territory of 3. Otherwise, as long as you just get someone coming back from Heroku, I think you're deployed to Heroku, right? Backend.
Yes, correct.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
As
thank
long
you
as
so much
you have that, that's all you need. So
Thank you.
definitely. Anybody else?
Quick question on my end: would Stripe count as that piece instead of just saying like hello for the new portion? If they implement the Stripe account and have that displayed on the front end, would that count?
Well, Stripe. So that's a little bit different. I mean, Stripe isn't gonna necessarily be. It won't make a difference in terms of how the week goes, because when it comes to, how do I put this? You don't have to have fully functioning Stripe uh, application at the end of this week. So if you're going to include Stripe as one of those APIs that's like included, then yeah, as long as you have some indication coming from where it's deployed on Heroku, then that's fine. I'm just trying to think of an example of how it could just give you a hello world. If it's just some like generic like 2-cent purchase or something. But if you can return some kind of prop, maybe once you have Stripe configured, the configuration to separate a paid user from a non-paid user it's relatively speaking, it's not that difficult to just like change a boolean according to like what's on Stripe over there. So I'm sorry I can't answer that like more plainly. I'm just having a hard time thinking of like how you would get a basic response back. But anything you get from Stripe, just coming to the front end, whether it's like a 1 or a 0 that's displayed on the page, doesn't make a difference. Just give me something coming back from Stripe. All right. So that's all I got. And again, lastly, if Stripe if that becomes like tricky and you have a hard time rendering data back, I don't know how this would go, because you're flexing with like a handful of APIs. So if one of them isn't cooperating, we're talking about 80% for a 2 for passing. So I mean, if you're having trouble with one, that's the point in the week that you get it in touch with me. I mean, talk to Thomas too, but we could decide like what's happening. Not that I don't want to make some like, here's an escape plan if something doesn't work out or whatever, but a 2 is 80% of your APIs. So just so we understand the distinction here between 80% and 100%, if something like Stripe, which I foresee could be a little bit more difficult, just keep in mind, we're talking 80%. So yeah, that's what I got. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for presenting. That's a very, very good presentation, by the way. Straight to the point. No fluff, no fuss, no muss. It was great. Appreciate it very much. Oh, and I'm still recording too.